wonderful things around you. Let's go back to the beginning and see what the Bible tells us about how it all began. In the beginning, God made the heavens and the earth. God moved over the darkness and said, "Light." He called the light day, and he called the darkness night. And that was that for day one. Then God made a space to separate the waters above from the waters below. He called the space sky, and that was that for day two. God gathered the waters together, and dry ground appeared. He called the ground land, and the waters seas. Then he made plants like grass, grain, and trees, and that was that for day three. Then God made lights in the sky. He made the sun for the day, the moon for the night, and all the stars, and that was that for day four. God made fish to swim in the waters, and birds to fly in the sky. "Have babies," he told them. "Fill the world with splashing and singing." And that was that for day five. Next, God made animals. He made farm animals, wild animals, and animals that crawl on the ground. "Just one more thing to make," God said, "the most special thing of all." So, in his image, God made man and woman. "Have babies," he said, "and look after this world. Care for the fish, the birds, and the animals." And that was that for day six. Then God looked at everything he had made. "It's very good," he said. So on the seventh day he rested, and made that day special. And that lived in a beautiful garden that God made for them. But Satan arrived, disguised as a crafty snake, and he tempted Adam and Eve. "Did God say you mustn't eat the fruit from these trees?" the snake asked Eve. "Just the tree in the middle," Eve replied. "If we eat from it, we'll die." "You won't die," said the snake. "There's a reason why God doesn't want you to eat from that tree. If you do, you'll be like him. You'll know what he knows." Eve ate the fruit. She gave some to Adam, who was with her. He ate it too. And suddenly, they knew things they had never known before. One thing they knew was that they were naked. They sewed leaves together to cover themselves. They'd never felt fear or shame before, so they knew something was wrong. "Adam," God called. "Eve." "We're hiding," said Adam. "We're naked." "You know that because you ate from the tree," God sighed. Then Adam blamed Eve, and Eve blamed the snake. God said, "Snake, from now on you must crawl on your belly. A woman's son will defeat you." Eve, childbirth will become painful. Adam, growing food will become difficult. Then God made clothes for Adam and Eve and sent them out of the garden. He put an angel with a flaming sword there so they could not. They kept disobeying God and hurting each other. God was sorry he had made them. He decided to send a flood to wash away everyone on earth. There was a man named Noah who wasn't like the others. Noah loved God and obeyed him. God decided to spare Noah and his family from the flood. God warned Noah about the flood. He told him to build an enormous boat with a low roof, 3 floors, a window, and a door. Noah obeyed God and built it. God told Noah to collect 2 of every kind of animal, 1 male, 1 female. Then Noah, his family, and the animals went into the boat. God shut the door. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Water fell from the sky and rose from the oceans and lakes. Even the tallest mountains disappeared beneath the flood. Meanwhile, Noah, his family, and all the animals were safe in the boat, floating on the floodwaters. God had not forgotten about Noah, not even for a moment. God sent a wind to blow. The waters went down. The boat landed on Mount Ararat. Noah sent out a dove. When it didn't return, he knew it was safe. When the ground was dry, God told them to come out. He put a rainbow in the sky as a promise that he would never flood, and from that son, many descendants who would bless the whole world. But Abraham and his wife Sarah were too old to have children. 20 years went by. Still, Abraham trusted God's promise. When he was 100 and Sarah was 90, God reminded them of his promise. Sarah was going to have a baby. When their son was born, Sarah was so joyful that she laughed. "God has brought me laughter," she said. So they named their son Isaac, which means he laughs. When Isaac was a boy, God tested Abraham by telling him to take Isaac to Mount Moriah and kill him as a sacrifice to God. Abraham was confused, but still he trusted God. Isaac carried the wood, and Abraham held the knife and flaming torch. Together they climbed the mountain. "Where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" asked Isaac. "God will provide it," Abraham replied. Abraham arranged the wood on an altar, tied up Isaac, and laid him on the wood. As he raised the knife to kill Isaac, an angel called his name. "Abraham, don't hurt the boy," the angel cried. "God knows you trust his promise. Look, there in the bushes, a ram is caught by its horns. Sacrifice that instead." So Abraham sacrificed the ram instead of his son. He called the place "God will provide," because God provided the sacrifice. Just Pharaoh was afraid that the Israelites would become too powerful, so he made them slaves and treated them very badly. Pharaoh ordered that all baby Israelite boys had to be killed. One woman put her baby in a basket and hid him by the river's edge. His sister watched him. Pharaoh's daughter was bathing by the river. She found the baby and decided to keep him. His sister offered their mother's help to care for him. Pharaoh's daughter named him Moses. Moses grew up. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite. Moses killed the Egyptian. Then he ran away to Midian and was a shepherd for 40 years. Moses was watching his sheep on Mount Horeb. The voice of God spoke from a burning bush. "My people are suffering, Moses. I have chosen you to free them." "I can't," Moses cried. "I'll help you," God promised. "Throw down your staff." Moses did. It turned into a snake. When he picked it up, it was a staff again. "Put your hand in your cloak," God said. Moses did. He looked. His hand was covered with disease. When he did it again, it was healed. "Show Pharaoh that," God said. "I'm not a good speaker," said Moses. "I'll give you the words," God said. "Your brother Aaron can help you too." So Moses went to tell his son, Samuel. She was very grateful, so she gave Samuel to God to serve him. Hannah left her little boy at the temple with Eli the priest. Samuel helped old, blind Eli. He even slept in the temple, while Eli slept in a room nearby. One night, Samuel heard someone call his name. He got up and ran to Eli. "Here I am," he said. "I didn't call you," Eli grunted. "Go back to bed." Samuel crept back to bed. He heard his name again. Samuel ran back to Eli. "Here I am," he said. "I didn't call you," Eli sighed sleepily. "Go back to bed." After Samuel heard the voice a third time, Eli said it was the Lord. "If he calls again," said Eli, "say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel did. "Samuel," God said, "can you be my prophet and pass my words faithfully on to my people?" "I can," said Samuel. And he did, until he was an old